All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of this weekend charts via Carnival Trades and Wall Street for Main Street. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find Jason on Patreon and come find me on carnivaltrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it this week here. I got to tell you guys, this is one of the wildest weeks. I've been doing this for almost 15 years. And this is one of the wildest weeks I have ever traded, by far. And fortunately, having two of my top single day gains ever as a trader, both this week, Monday and Wednesday specifically. If you are not privy to what's going on here, I'll give a quick recap. So we obviously gapped down Monday, and Monday morning there was it was a rumor that Trump was going to walk back tariffs and pause tariffs for everyone but China. And you can see here when that came out, the S&P went from 49.60 to 52.46. So basically a 300-point move in less than 10 minutes. I've never seen that before ever. We had this range here is about 10%, 10-12%. Just from this low to this high. Then by the end of the day, we backed off and closed essentially flat. The following day, we gapped up, sold off, retraced a lot of it. And then on Wednesday, the same exact quote-unquote rumor was released by the White House after it was denied on Monday by the White House. And it was, essentially rumored, not rumored, but it was true. So they walked back tariffs on everyone for 90 days. Except China, who they increased tariffs on. And basically, this served as a trial balloon to see if they could bag shorts, and they did that. Not only that, but 2 hours before that, Donald Trump says, hey, what a great time to buy stocks this is. So he put the feeler out there, and man, I guess those guys in the West Wing are doing pretty good right now. They're doing probably better than Pelosi at this point. But in any case, amazing move here. We were able to catch this in the trading room this week, too. And this is unbelievable. I think we had 1,000. We had a little over 1,000 points on the NQ in about an hour, which is just unbelievable. We also caught a couple hundred on Monday on the S&P. I haven't traded the last 2 days. I've decided to take a little time off because of that. But nonetheless, just amazing volatility here. Now we do have a little bit of a possible WV pattern here for the S&P. So we maybe we see a little bit of a bottom here right now after the big decline. And you're going to see we went into this big trend line here. Actually, if we go back, let me use a weekly chart. You can see from the pandemic low and then the 2022 low, if you just intersect those lows throughout 2023, you can see we gapped right into that. And additionally, if we take a fib here and we go to, actually, I think I already have it done on another chart. Yep, there we go. So if you take a fib retrace from the 2022 low and a fib retrace from the 2023 low, you can see you get a 618 and a 50%. So a 50% retrace from the lower one and the 618 from the higher one. So you have fib confluence there as well. So the market reacting, bottom line, the market reacting to a huge technical level, not to mention the previous all-time high, right? 4,800. So big technical level hit. Yeah, almost speechless here. I'm almost speechless here. I don't know what else to say here. But an incredible move here for the market. Right now, we're seeing a lot of volatility, though. VIX is still holding up pretty well. So we're not seeing the traditional vol crush. But it is well off the highs. It hit a 60 Monday morning. It has backed off. The complex, though, is still structured pretty well, though. I mean, we could see another spike here at some point. I do think time is running out on that, but as the options market is now starting to, we're starting to get a little bit closer to April OPEX, and we're seeing some decay here in puts, but yeah, definitely not out of the woods here with volatility. And I mean, we're seeing literally 60-point moves in 5 minutes and then no follow through earlier this week. I mean, you can take a look at a 5-minute chart. This candle right here, that's 60 points, and it didn't even follow through. It amounted to nothing. The liquidity is terrible, but just an incredible market to trade. Now, what's the big level here that the bulls need to clear in order to kind of, stamp some sort of a low here. To me, that's 5,500 on SPX. If we can get a weekly close above that, meaning on Friday, that to me says, okay, we reclaimed the breakdown essentially, and that means we can go higher. I don't think it's going to do that right away. There is still a risk of us going lower too. My kind of thought is that there is a low end though, and we will be very choppy down here. It's not going to, yes, we're oversold and we're due for a bounce, but I think we need to base here. And that's going to take a few weeks, I think, maybe even into the end of the month. But just unbelievable volatility right now in the Treasury market. That's the big concern. You can see, let's use the 10-year. 10-year back above 4.5 today. It did come way off the highs, though. And I think right now, there's a big level here on TLT at double bottom, and there's also a big dealer level at 85, which got touched today. There was a good reversal on that. I think right now the bond market may have discounted whatever it was trying to discount because we saw a major reaction here today, and it got saved when it needed to. So we'll see what happens here. I do think yields maybe close to at least a medium-term top here. We'll know over the weekend though. We've had SOFR issues, SOFR futures having some issues. We have some plumbing problems with the financial market. Spreads are wide, credit spreads. Look at HYG here. So there's issues out there. There is some speculation now that the Fed may come up with a program because they can't cut rates right now. They can't cut rates, but they could come up with a program to maybe slow that down. Now, it's interesting because we had bank earnings this morning too, and JPM actually did pretty well. That stock's up 5% here. XLF up 2% today. So we're not seeing problems from bank stocks, and I wonder if maybe the plumbing isn't as bad as advertised, or maybe the Fed is already ahead of it. The other thing that I think could be a headline going into the weekend is China, right? Do they come to the table? Right now, it seems that Bessent and Trump, their idea is they came out and said, okay, we're going to reward the rest of the world here because they didn't fire back with retaliation and stuff like that. So it seems like they're trying to make the China the bad guy, and they want to get the rest of the world to kind of rally against that and make them look, foolish. That's the way I read their plan. So don't shoot me if you disagree. I'm just saying that's the way I read it from what I can see what they're trying to do. And we'll see if that works. If Trump gets what he wants, this could work out very well. There is a very good chance of that, but should that work out? But we're dealing with China here. We're dealing with BRICS, and there's a lot of moving parts. But it honestly was the right call to walk back tariffs. I mean, you can't make that kind of change that quickly. I mean, the market was totally off guard, and it's just too much too fast. But nonetheless, from a technical standpoint, the low is right here, so you know where to trade off of that. And then 5,500 to me is a big level for bulls to reclaim. QQQ, we're going to say 465 to 470. And then IWM here, 195 will be a big level. I would just say even 200 on that. The Dow able to close the week back above 402, so that means the Dow Jones Industrial is above the 40K handle. So reclaiming that, so good job there. For the Dow, SMH also with a huge bounce as well. If it can get back above this nexus here of these two trend lines and that 100 week, look at the volume here, by the way. By the way, I didn't even mention that. Look at the volume here on the weekly SPY, and I'm doing this at 3:30 p.m. There's still some time left. That's close to an all-time high, or at least on this chart here. I mean, I might go back farther. Yeah, I was gonna say the GFC is probably fine, but look at that. You can see it all the way on a 20-year chart here. That's why I think there's a low in place. But in any case, SMH, if that can clear that area, 210, it's in better shape. IGV, 89 to 90. Dow Transport's still a rough shape here. It needs to get back above 14.2 to 14.3. Interest rates we talked about. I'll just look at ZT. The 2-year is coming down, so yield curve is now actually. You know what? I'll show you the actual curve because it does matter. Because it is now the most normalized in years. So there's 210, 3-month 10-year deeply, or excuse me, briefly uninverted, and now it's back to normal. But here's the 210s. So we haven't had this normalization since 2022. 2-year higher today by a little bit. It did come way off the lows, and then 30-year got close to the highs here, and it did back off. I do think bond shorts are a little overzealous in the short to medium term, but time will tell. XHB here, again, big outside move, just like everything else. VNQ, look at that. We talked about this the other day. I wonder if it goes down to that trend line again, and it did. So a nice bounce there. We mentioned XLF, ARE holding up, but not the greatest bounce so far. So some of these other banks, we still got a lot of earnings to get through here too. So we'll see. They may be just waiting on that. Broker dealers holding up, and looks like it's going to close the week back above the 200. That's a positive. I also caught. So get into oil here. We caught this on Wednesday as well. I did not hold it. I was just. It was supposed to be a little day trading level, sub 56. We got it in right around here, and it popped. We sold some, and then we just jumped on the pullback, and I wish I had just held it because it went up another like $7. I did not know that was coming. I just saw an insanely overdone oil, spot crude there, or crude futures rather, at a 5-year low. So, and in a straight line with no bounces, I had to take a stab at it there. But amazing moves here, and I think oil's way overdone as well. XLE. Just an absolute bloodbath a week or two ago. That is coming up off the lows as well. Same thing with XOP and OIH. So energy trying to get something going here, but it's got its work cut out for it. CCJ managing to close the week green, and this is a sector that's a little bit immune to a degree to some of this action. You can see URNJ getting a nice bid here today. Nat gas is interesting. So it's actually going to, so it's going to close the week. It's going to be right on the dot. So for me, it's this level right here, 3554. So above this on a weekly close would be would keep that breakup bar low alive. I would just give it the benefit of the doubt in the next week, because this pattern is still okay. A little bit of weakness there. This can tighten up on the weekly time frame though. Dollar index selling off very sharply. New 52-week lows. It touched 99 today, and it is trying to bounce. But again, maybe some capital stuff going on here, and maybe China trying to send a message. So I did not have gold doing this week. I was looking for consolidation. I did say though, you'll recall, I did say look for some sort of a dip and then maybe a slight higher high that doesn't follow through. So that is still a possibility. But what is interesting to me is look at GDX. That is, I did not expect that. That's a huge move. And I mean, we're talking multi-year highs here. It's very strange that GDX wants to play catch up now. Only after gold has already done this entire run and kind of hit my targets and everything. So I'm not sure what to make out of it, but GDX had a huge move today. Look at Newmont, AEM. I mean, these are all higher. The royalties, I mean, these are all getting bids here. Big bid. I don't know, maybe it's just a short covering, kind of like maybe a blow off, a near term blow off. I don't know, but or maybe it just starts to go parabolic here. I don't know. We'll have to see next week. Next week is Options X too, so expect some game playing. But very interesting. Silver up 4.5. I told you guys a lot of chart damage on the daily, but again, a lot of time in the month. If we close the month here, that's not the worst candle. It's just a test of the 20 MA. So silver still lives to fight another day, and it's had a nice rebound here. So we'll have to keep that on watch. I don't really have it. I have it topping in the month of April. So I'm assuming this is a high, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened. Platinum and palladium both down. I don't really have anything interesting there. Copper getting a nice rebound here too. This was way overdone, way overdone. I said on Sunday night, if there was there was another way to trade this Sunday night when it was trading down here, other than the futures. If I could have traded unlevered, I absolutely 100% would have bought copper and silver here. I mean, literally all-time highs to 52-week lows in like 10 days. That's absurd for copper. I mean, this isn't a growth stock. It's copper. I mean, just unbelievable volatility here. But yeah, crazy stuff. Bitcoin this week, again, this just continues to just act like nothing's going on. I mean, it's green on the week, right? It's holding up. You do have kind of a bear flag here, look here, but you are above the 50 MA. I would prefer a bear flag if it's below the 50, and it's not. So, I'm still going to give it I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for now. It's not good, it's not bad. A lot of the alts are up nicely too. We'll see what happens next week. We have Options X. We've got Powell speaking on Wednesday. I don't know what he's going to do. He can't cut rates. If anything, I mean, they might need to raise rates to make the debt more attractive. I mean, they can put in a liquidity program if things are necessary, but I have a suspicion that this was a little bit more coordinated than people are aware of. And I think the bank performance right now is telling of that. If you look at XLF here, this is retraced to the highs of 2024, but if you look at SPY, this took out all of 2024's gains. So banks are outperforming, which does not make sense if we're having liquidity problems. But that's a story for another time. Anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me on conovertrades.com. We'll see you guys all next week.